are.
2020 is here.
Right on.
Fantastic.
Well, so here we are with Access Harleywood. We're live from the public TV Lake Orion site, and we are happy to have everybody on board with us today. How was your holidays?
It was good. It was good. I made it to the movies on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
It's actually, you'd think I'd do this every Christmas, but this is actually the first time I did it.
Yeah.
So, we went and saw Uncut Gems. The
Oh,
Adam
yeah.
Sandler. Yeah. It was very good.
You know, I heard a lot of people say that the critics love it, but the people don't, and I want to see it really bad because I think it may be a movie that requires you to have patience.
Yes, I have some movie critic friends.
Yeah.
And I've been debating back and forth with them about it. I liked the film. However, I don't know that I would recommend it or that I would see it again. And I credit Adam Sandler. I think he did a fantastic job. It's a different character than what he usually does. With that said, I think he was the wrong choice for the movie because there's a lot of yelling, and Adam Sandler has a very pitchy, screamy voice that I don't think people can take for 2.5 straight hours of it. My wife was there, and unfortunately for her, she was ready to leave after 45 minutes of it because she just couldn't take his yelling anymore. So it was too distracting to the storyline. But I enjoyed the movie. It put you in a state of hysteria, which is what you want with a film, is to take you into that place. And I thought about it for days after. It really got in my head. Yeah. But I do think there's a lot of people that are going to finish watching that movie and not get it because they were so distracted by the amount of screaming for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, his voice is at a unique pitch. It's great for comedy.
Yes, it's great when he gets angry and goes off for a quick one-liner.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. But when it's literally that pitch for 2.5 hours. Yeah. And it is a lot to take in, even for me by the end.
Anger management 5.0. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's very cool. It's been the trend, I guess, for 2019 to have Joker and Uncut Gems, both people that are heavily troubled. Kind of interesting to think about what we're learning, and especially looking at society, because I remember hearing about during the Second World War that most of the plays and stuff people watched were comedies. Okay. Because reality was so heavy.
Escaping reality.
Yeah, and I'm thinking right now it's like we are in some tricky times. We're still watching all this dark stuff, and it's kind of interesting to me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. I think it's a movie that I would probably enjoy.
Yes,
my wife probably fall asleep.
I think setting the proper expectation for people, and I think that's the issue right now, is the critical acclaim, or the critics, everybody's so on board with it that people are going in and expecting something different.
Especially with Adam Sandler, who's got a calling card of a long, 30 years of comedies or whatever it is now. It's and this is not a comical film.
And I feel conflicted. I feel bad saying that because, like I said, he did great. His acting was great. It's different than his usual characters, but just I think somebody else in that role, people may have bought in, or at least be able to sit through it and not be so distracted with that high pitch.
Yeah. I had a really interesting holidays. We have a guy here in Michigan called Skeeter Murray, and here is
hold that bad boy up.
Pow! Spirit of Excellence, best filmmaker.
That's an honor.
It was, and especially anybody who saw the other nominees. There were so many people that have done a whole lot of things, getting awards, and it was a really cool event to come and sit down and talk. And Erica Hovland won Best Actress. Shane Hagedorn won Best Actor. Two people that I've had in my films, which was really cool. But seeing a lot of other people there, kind of broadening the network. And Skeeter's a really good guy with all those things. He's got a show on that he's a little bit sporadic on. I think he's really picky with the guests, so it's not on a regular basis.
A weekly basis.
Yeah, he's got to find somebody that he finds interesting enough to sit down with and do this thing, which I actually think that's great. We've just been really fortunate that we've had really good guests just flowing through the door. And today's going to be more of that. So definitely looking forward to that. But yeah, I want to say thank you to the whole thing and everything that they did. It was a great event. It was a lot of fun, great networking. Skeeter's Skitter's awesome.
I was gonna say it looked like a pretty well organized event that they had you guys come in, and it seemed more also a setup for like a meet and greet. For even those who didn't win awards to come and meet and talk to the best.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic, as opposed to award shows where you just watch somebody get an award and walk away.
Yeah,
that's a great setup to then be able to go and pick the brains of the best. Because
my first thought was, because there was no podium, they weren't handed out that way. So it was kind of weird because you never get to say your thank you speech to the people who kind of whatever. But the more I thought about it, all the personal interactions and the people that say, what you do, blah, 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 and connections were made all the way around was kind of cool too.
Yeah.
So
you
it
can
doesn't
go on
have to be the
Facebook
same way.
Yeah, you
exactly.
go on Facebook thing because it's not real until you do it on Facebook. So.
Right. Yeah, what happens? I remember seeing a shirt when I was in Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays on Facebook, and I'm like, yeah, it's probably true. All right, what do you say? We're going to bring in our one and only guest today, which is not. We haven't done this in a while.
We're going to try and stay on time today.
Yes, that's the game plan. So we are only 8.5 minutes in, so I think we can do good today.
Yeah.
But this is April Washko, and she is the creator of a really cool idea that became something and now has turned into something.
Yes.
So I think we should bring her in and let her talk about it herself. But here is April Washko from the Share Gang.
There's a huge audience off camera.
Yes. And major kudos to the Happy Bear Factory for letting you come out in that outfit today.
It was like the sun followed her in from outside. It was weird. You got to be sweating in that.
Yeah.
Always cold.
Let's see if we can find your level.
Hello.
There we are.
1,
Fantastic.
2, 3.
Yes. So how did you come up with this whole idea?
Well, are you ready to be my therapist?
Yes.
So I always knew I wanted to be an actor.
Mm-hmm.
That was always my main objective. And at least at that time, the only way for that to be possible was, of course, you move to LA, you get an agent, you do all that stuff. So I knew that's what I had to do at that time. Mm-hmm. So I did. But I also knew that the way I wanted to get somewhere wasn't, personally for me, struggling and hustling as a waitress, right?
Yeah.
So I said, how can I?
The new thing is Ubering or lifting, by the way.
So I've heard.
Yeah, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
That's the new
Go to
waiter.
LA
That's the
Uber?
new waiter. Yes, I'm telling you.
That's amazing.
Every single time I'm there, it's I'm like, so what else do you do but driving? Oh, I'm an actor. Every time.
Really?
Well, hey, you never know who you're going to pick up. So
Right.
That's a great networking.
Right.
That is the
setup.
truth. That is the truth.
But yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So I said, well, how can I hack this system and get on the set and cut out half of my issue,
Yeah.
And I said, oh my gosh, I'll do their hair. That's easy. Boom. So I went to cosmetology school and with the intention of, okay, I'm going to go to California. I'm going to work on sets and work in studios and kind of get to know people, network, mingle, and all that. And I did. I did that for a while. And then it was quickly, oh, you're the hair girl. And I'm like, no, that's not what I want. Damn. So I'm like, no, I can't. I can act. And they're like, okay, cool. But are you available at this time to do hair? No.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, never mind. Fine. So yeah, I did that for a while. And at the time when I was there, it was prior to the Me Too movement. And I was quite sick and tired of the quote unquote opportunities
Oh, yeah.
that I was being offered. And the role.
Why are they always holding those in hotel rooms? The opportunities.
I had some on actual studio lots.
Oh.
Yeah. Like you think you're safe. You get called to a studio and you're cool, I'm safe. It's legit people. And then you get in there and the audition's great and people turn their heads and they turn the camera off and they say, so what else are you willing to do for this role? And I'm like, boy, I will mess you up. So
What was it? You know where I'm from?
I was like, do you know where I'm from? I ain't that desperate, homie. So I was just sick of that.
Yeah.
And all the roles even through agents or on my own were just
Yeah.
Terrible. No one knew how to write for women. They were the other woman. I want a substantial role. I'm a good actor. I know I can do this. Give me a chance, And so I just said, forget it. I'm going home. You know, I'm going to see what's going on there. It was, I was in the process of moving back here when the film started coming here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. And I came here and moved back home, saved money. Thank you. And did that for a while. I just kind of got on sets here, learned as much as I could on independent film sets, as far as going in trailers and asking, hey, do you mind if I follow you today? Or asking the director, is it okay if I sit here and watch you? Sound, can I listen to what you're doing? Can you show me? Just everywhere I could, any possible opportunity I had.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
That is so smart to do, people. Make sure you play back what she just said and steal that, because that's brilliant, because trust me, you'll need it one day.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and it honestly helped me grow as an actor as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like so much of, I mean, maybe not so much, but it's in your head, the nerves and the uncertainty about, how do I say this? What do I, even just being on set on your mark and lights and people you don't know, and you're like, oh, I'm scared. Hope I remember my line, depending. But when you kind of
And
know.
knowing damn well you know your lines.
Yeah.
And you're still somehow gets in your head, especially when you get on a new set where you don't know anyone and you're looking around like, oh, okay, Jesus.
Yeah.
Am I gonna
It's
remember?
overwhelming.
And then suddenly they say action and you're just there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you kind of have a better idea of what everyone's doing and their actual jobs, you feel a little more comfortable. So I did that for a while. I asked how I could produce for independent films. I asked how I can help market, and I just did all of that. I ended up marketing and doing PR and producing on top of acting for a lot of projects. And I was in so many things where it was this is our plan, this is what we're doing, it's going somewhere, it's going to be great.
Oh, yeah.
And then...
And you're working for an IMDb copy and Little Caesars.
Passion.
Right. Or even, I was on some that were pretty well paid.
Yeah.
And where is it? Yeah. And then it's like it just cut halfway through the production. It's just
Over.
Yeah. Or it's the film is over, and you're like, cool. Especially as a producer, okay, we're great. We're taking it here. We're pitching it here. We're doing this, whatever, and you never hear from them again.
Yeah.
And you're like,
oh yeah.
What? Why did you do that?
Yeah.
Why did you make the whole movie then? For Facebook pictures? Like, why?
Yeah.
So
got a lot of likes though.
So that frustrated me severely. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I am not about playing around. I want a career. I want to do this for real. I want to make a living doing this. I guess I have to do it myself. Because I don't see any other option.
Yeah.
And that was around the time that, YouTube and all of that was getting big, and people were getting series from the internet. All these things people were getting discovered and picked up. And I really was against it at first, because I was always taught that's, not film-like, and, do a real film, quote unquote. But when somebody has no budget.
There's an audience for it. Make it.
Right. And when you have no budget, no other means,
Yeah.
and you have a passion, do it. That's all that matters. Your audience will come. Everything will come. So I was really, really scared and really nervous, and I was unsure and totally broke and, on the verge of tears, wanting this so bad, and trying everything from Chicago to New York to LA, all of it. And I was like, all right, I guess I just got to do it for me. And I don't know what I'm doing. I've never directed. I've never written. I've never done this before.
Yeah.
But if I don't do this, nothing will happen for me.
Yeah.
So there it is.
That's very
and
cool.
the genius part, the show, obviously it's a mockumentary.
Yeah.
It takes place at a hair salon. The genius part of it is going into this, where you were, like you said, you're broke, or you're trying to put this together, make it on your own, learn. Is that you did such a good job of creating something that is manageable, a one location set. I'm still actually, I'm still shocked at the way that you're able to still keep a group of cast members, the amount that you have involved with this going. But because generally when you're starting small, you need small cast, you need, something, and you've made this cast and even rotated it and kept the talent or the level of quality of entertainment hasn't fallen at all.
Thank you so much.
That was a part that just kept blowing me away watching
Yeah.
Thank
yeah.
you.
season. And so
Well, and other things that I find tricky that I think you did really well is when you do that style of filming, it's easy that everyone talks over each other and you're almost internally having fun and the audience doesn't get it. But that's not the case. Somehow we're with you. We're there with you. We're like sitting, waiting in the seats, watching this happen do you see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, thank
we're
you.
almost a camera guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I felt when I watched it. You're sitting there and you're the camera guy looking around at the craziness at this salon.
I start waiting for my hair appointment to show
Right,
up.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Do I have a client coming
Yeah,
in yet?
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, but that's hard because they're talking over each other and still keeping it interesting and especially funny. It's not easy.
Yeah.
So kudos.
Thank you.
So
Thank
you took the step that a lot of people, unfortunately, are unable to do. Is everybody there's a lot of people out there with these ideas, a lot of people that want to make these movies, a TV show. They talk about these ideas, but they don't get started. What was your first step? I mean, what did you do when obviously you made the decision you were going to do it? What did you do next? What was it that did you start casting? Did you start looking for equipment? Like, what was your priorities here?
I'm guessing writing.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I think first and foremost, it's truly having an honest conversation with yourself about your expectations and what you want to do with the rest of your life. Because I've found even just doing this that there's so many people. I mean, bless their hearts, where they have in the beginning such a passion for this field, and then they see what's required and they say no, thank you.
Yeah.
And understanding that do I really want to do this? Seriously, do I really want to do this? Because
I think that's a great question to ask yourself because most people don't understand what happens when you start.
Yeah.
I remember signing up for this having no real clue. And I'm happy that I love the journey because if I was chasing an end destination or fame or something like that, I would have probably quit a long time ago.
And that what you just said is what I'm actively finding peace with. Because especially, I think, at least in my case, starting with nothing and being so frustrated previously in other acting jobs and just wanting to be seen as an actor, it was very much like, come on, please, let this be it. And anything you love, no matter how much you love it, ends up turning into a job.
Yeah.
And it's showing up every day even when you don't want, and no matter, you can love it all day, but like you're tired, you're frustrated, and it doesn't mean you get to not show up.
No.
So, it's that, like you said, like we said, having a honest conversation with yourself. And as far as beyond that, I was honest. I didn't look at anyone else because that would have been too overwhelming.
And distracting.
Absolutely. And I knew I didn't have what other people had. I don't have a budget and I don't have knowledge. I'm just truly going into this with intentions to create my career and the career of others. And my intention was to create laughter and entertainment for people and not to be perfect. And that ate me up for a while, and that was kind of my delay.
Perfection bug.
Yeah.
That's the big hiccup, I think, for a lot of people is that they go into these projects thinking they're going to make like a Spielberg movie.
Yeah.
Or, and it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay, especially starting out.
Right.
Just get the material out there. You're going to learn as you go, and I think you set the proper expectation. Like you said, that conversation with yourself, you did that, and I think a lot of people get tied up with that. If audio is not 100%, but like you said, if the story's good, people want to hear it.
Yeah.
They'll watch.
And that was it. It's
And then you look for ways to improve. I mean, that's what you, and that's how it should be. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes better.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
And I intentionally, when I was gathering equipment and stuff, I said, okay, I'm gonna start with the absolute lowest level of stuff because I don't want to start with something great and have nowhere to go from there. And have it look terrible or have me do it wrong. I want to like learn as I go and always have a place to like have the fans be like, oh wow, that's better and better and better. Not just start up here.
Yeah.
And then have people be like, what? Like you can't go anywhere from there, right? But just getting over that with myself, not looking at other people and understanding that it's going to be me. And my journey. It's not going to look like anyone else's. It's not going to be this 5-star machine in the beginning. This is really.
But what is 5-star though?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
right.
let's be honest.
Right.
I talk Jerry is an acting coach locally, and him and I have these fundamental conversations all the time. Excellence is very much. I like something, you don't like
Right.
it, whatever. But
From a certain
there's
point of view.
there's a standard of acceptable that I think all of us would probably agree on. If we watch something, is the sound acceptable? If the sound is acceptable, then we can all start talking about excellence and have our own opinions, because that's what it is at that point. Same thing with the video and everything else. There's acceptable, and then there's excellence. And excellence, I think, is a flavor for a lot of people, anyways. And acceptable, I think, is the bottom line for us to try to find and make sure that we're always above it. That's the best I think we can do, because the minute you start striving for excellence all the time,
Right.
you're gonna be struggling or perfection all the time. That because it doesn't exist.
No, and it takes a toll on you spiritually, mentally, everything.
Yeah.
And I did actually, I reached out to several casting directors in New York and LA that are very well known. And I asked them privately, just, hey, question.
Yeah.
Would web series content be acceptable to submit for different things? And even in that, because I wanted to gauge how I could help my actors, you know, because that's the intention, use these and promote yourself and get more work. And even they had varying opinions. Most
Yeah.
of them overwhelmingly were like, of course, we don't care. Kind of
Yep.
same thing you said. Story and acting. We just want to see that you can do what you do.
Yep.
Some of them, a very small few, were like, we need it to be this. No, we'd prefer this.
Yeah.
But even, just like you said, and that kind of helped me to realize, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Just do me.
And
you
when
know?
was that? When you had those calls? I mean, you're talking a few years ago, correct? Because you're on season 3 now.
That was
so-
before I even started.
And
Yeah.
I feel like that
Yeah.
time is even changing to
Right.
where, I mean, I feel like streaming, internet is really becoming a bigger driving force lately for
Yeah.
that kind of material. So
Yeah.
Well, and I, for all the people that are struggling and can't seem to find their way, we shot moving parts on a Canon 70D, which is a $500 photography camera, and we had a Tascam, a boom pole, and a mic. That's how we made moving parts, and it's streaming, and it's been trending on Amazon a year plus after it was released. So trust me, it's way more about content than anything else. So if you can do that with really basic equipment, you're fine. I mean, don't stress out over
Yeah.
the equipment. As the
Yeah.
money come in, and you can buy the Alexa later.
it's story,
Right, that's
but
true.
it's story. So when
Yeah.
you started writing first on this,
Mm-hmm.
did you kind of just start with like a pilot to try and just show people, hey, this is what it looked like to get them more bought in, or did you wrote out a whole season and had that mapped out before you even then started going into casting?
So once I had my conversation with myself and I said, this is going to be a struggle, it's going to be hard, but I'm going to do it and I'm going to dedicate myself to it. Then I went about being real about, I have no budget. I have no money.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? You know? And that is the intention first was to create something for myself and for others. Then once I was honest about what I had, the idea was formed because I can't create beyond my means.
Yeah.
So, okay, I have no budget. So this is not going to be perfect. It's not going to look perfect. How do I make a show that doesn't look perfect? Boom, do something like mockumentary. Easy, it's passable. Okay, I have no budget. What do? I'm going to have to do a story that's one location. How do I do one location? Boom, make it something like, quote unquote, The Office style, something like that. Boom, okay.
So this wasn't like you said before you do hair, and
Yeah.
this wasn't like something over the years of just having a conversation, because most times people will joke at work like, man, that'd be funny to make a show like this. This is not born from that. Like this, you
No.
literally worked backwards from I want to.
That's interesting, in that you land where you were trying to get out of.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. Well, and also, what do I know?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't write about what I don't know. And as far as, like a one-off film or something, that wasn't my bag. I
Yeah.
wanted to be able to build a big audience and eventually take things to festivals. I had this
Yeah.
vision. And I'm like, okay, it's got to be something I know. It's got to be something I'm familiar with, or else I can't. It's not going to be funny. It's not going to be relatable to anyone.
Yep.
Okay, boom, hair. And I mean, I
And
did
everybody goes to get their hair cut.
Yeah.
And everybody has seen some of that in real life. I mean,
even
really.
customer service, just, whew.
Yeah. No,
Wow.
but it's one of them places. It is pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
I think you could start this all over with the massage therapy spot and make it
I
hilarious.
was
I've
telling
heard
April,
that.
like,
Yeah.
I've heard that.
I had similar ideas in the past about when I worked at Blockbuster, like way back in the
Oh,
day.
yeah.
Like a
Same thing
mocky,
there.
funny
Yeah.
show because of where I worked, the customer service.
It's
So
already
I was
been made.
so
Be
driven to
kind,
this idea.
rewind.
Yep.
Yes.
Love that movie, by the way.
Yeah. But yeah, beyond that, then so I have my idea and I know it. Okay, that's easy. I can relate to that. I have other people whose ideas I can get because I knew tons of stylists. And I'm like, okay, now how do I do it? So I said, well, what's the most successful thing that I can find that's been done? And I went and Googled and YouTubed Ricky Gervais and watched every single thing he had to say about how he made The Office.
Yeah.
And I said, how did he do it? That's the only way I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah.
How did he do that? Okay. He wrote relatable to the people, relatable to him. I remember him saying something about, I just wrote me.
Yeah.
And it was easy. And people felt really like they could identify with that because of that. So I said, okay, bang, that's what I'll do. I'll write as close to me for myself as I possibly can. Also, what is going to be easy for me to accomplish knowing I'm going to have to do so much else. You know, I'm not going to have the even emotional or mental space from day to day on a set to do some huge big arc as an actor when I'm doing 1,000 other things.
Yeah.
So keep my character simple, but with room to grow later on when we get more means. So yeah, I Googled literally every single thing he had to say about how he made what he did. I think his creative partner, Stephen Merchant, I believe that was his name, him as well. And I watched both series of The Office completely twice, the US version and UK. And I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to do this. Let's just go. And then I wrote first because I was like, I want to shoot it, have it completely written. I don't want to be dealing with having to write it.
Yeah.
And then once it is 100% written, then film all of it, have it all edited first, then start releasing it while we're working on the next one. Because I don't want there to be some big delay about, and have 87 things in my brain dealing with 2 seasons. Like I don't want to do that.
We just talked about that.
Yeah. I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
But that was also in the discovery. How do they do it?
Yeah.
You know, how do they do this? And that made complete sense to me. That even just knowing previously from being a fan of shows that what you're watching now is not being filmed now. So, yeah. And I just went from there.
Now,
awesome.
Did you fulfill everything from what you had written? Because we had talked previously, and you have these people are volunteer. Casting's going to shuffle. Some people may not pull through. The first season, I mean, did you have to adjust a lot for that, or were you able to get through the first season pretty much unscathed as far as what you had written to what you were able to film and put through?
Pretty much unscathed because it was short at that time. You know, I intentionally also set out, like, I'm just going to do 7 to 10, see where this event's going, find my market audience, my target market audience and everything. So since they were kind of short, it wasn't that difficult.
Yeah. And, I mean, that honestly, I love the idea of just doing the 7 to 15 minute
Steven
episodes.
was saying the same thing when he was on that TV channel that's coming out or streaming.
The QB or what it's called.
It's all mini episodic, essentially between commercial breaks almost, so that you can, in short commutes and potty breaks or whatever, you can watch an whole episode. And that makes sense.
No, and it's to the point, and I think it plays well to the viral trends that are out there with these series,
Right.
is that you get that quick hit, and if it's funny and start sharing, people will click on that and see, 7 minutes, I can watch this real quick.
That's what we got to figure out with this show.
We got to start breaking this up. We film 20 episodes a day.
Yes. Oh, man.
But it was also something else that, even with the format of, like, okay, I'm going to do a mockumentary. In the decision about hair, my first, I guess, what I was learning and discovering and researching was, I'm not creating a show that ain't going to sell. Where's my audience?
Yeah.
So I, who is going to watch this before I even started? And I'm like, there's a gazillion hairstylists out there. There's a gazillion hairstylist groups. There's a gazillion salons I could walk into at any day and be like, hey, I'm doing this show. Here it is. And they are all going to watch it. I know stylists.
Yeah.
So it was also this is going to play to the correct group type of thing.
Yeah.
All middle-aged Star Wars nerds got involved.
But then it can bleed out, as far as
You've got a base network there.
Yeah, you got to that's the one thing that I always say when we're sitting in pre-pro or whatever, or development actually, on something, and I say, who is going to push by? Who's going to push by? and when I get the, that's not good.
Yeah, right. Yep.
So it's like you have to have your target audience that they're going to say, "Oh hell yeah," and push that button and make the purchase or with the view or whatever. And you definitely figured it out. And like I said, it's so relatable because everybody goes and everybody watches the whole thing. So I've seen when they have the contests going on at Lady Jane's and all that stuff. So I know how it rolls.
You know what's up.
Oh yeah.
No, so okay, so you go from writing, you got it all played out, you start casting. You're doing all of this from the get go. You just hold open casting calls. I mean, is that like you just put some ads out to see what you got? Did you know people acting that were looking for work at the time that you kind of wrote some of these characters for? What was your process as far as fulfilling these characters?
Yeah, I just put calls out, and that was my main intention. Like we talked about a little too, was my personal opinion was that I had seen a lot of projects that the storyline was great, things were good, but they use a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
And then it's not that great, because I mean, they didn't really spend the time getting the right actor, and I wanted people that were effortless, that I think were close to their character, that it wasn't a huge struggle for. I didn't ever want to be in the situation where I was like, oh gosh, I'll just call someone,
Yeah.
So I spent extra time on it, and I didn't, as far as setting a start date for the show or filming, I didn't do any of that till I took my time with casting. Good. And spent the time doing it, yeah. And everyone came and submitted, and they self-taped and sent in. I'm green. So no paper. And and yeah, and I just did it that way.
That's awesome. So, and then, I'd asked you before, like they all kind of fit their characters that you found the right fits for. Do you go through some rewriting process with somebody? Do you get help as the season progresses from people, or do you stay in complete control as far as stay on script?
It's really funny because now I'm getting actors emailing me pitches for characters to create.
Awesome.
Like I've had, and even New York, LA, like, hey, I really want to see this character. I know I could play it, and write me like a 3-page pitch about this character. I'm like, this is so amazing.
Yeah.
But yes, a little bit, depending. I'll definitely take the actors, like if they have an idea for a character or something like that, or even if it's something on set and I see like, oh my gosh, that's really funny that they have that story or they do that, and I'll kind of incorporate that about that person. Or if they're like an avid wildlife person, I'm like, gosh, that could be funny. How could I make that funny? So yeah, little things here and there as I see that it fits, and of course they're comfortable with it.
Yeah, and the thing too that's got to be hard is that you have the red herring of what you want the storyline to be and how you want it to go. You start getting actors that are tugging at it, then suddenly you don't have a story. So you got to be really careful. You can give, but don't give so much that it unhinges.
Yes, and I have very much discovered that, I forget the exact saying, but like it's business. Sorry, and it doesn't mean I'm being mean. It doesn't mean I'm being nasty.
No.
I'm no way intentionally disrespectful. It's just not going to fit. I'm sorry. Or if someone might see an actor, like one actor's idea, I'm like, yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And then one actor's not. There have sometimes been instances, not all the time, very rarely, where it's like, well, why did their idea? You pick, but it's just
because it worked.
Yeah, it just worked, and I'm sorry, but maybe next time. And some people have their emotions hurt a little bit, but I definitely realized that too. That was a big learning experience through the going with it. That it's business, and it's just that's how it is.
Yeah.
With certain things.
Yeah. No, I think it's good, and I think and I like what you're doing. To me, it feels like. You have a strong captain at the ship at the wheel,
Thanks.
and that's going to make sure that you go where you want to go too. Because you know what happened. I'm telling you, actors will take their character, and they might have been a supporting when it was starting, but if you let them, they'll be the lead at the end of it, and there won't be a movie or a series or whatever it may be. So, and they have no bad intentions. It's just what. They see it from their point of view and from their character, which is
or even vice versa. I think a challenge with a series is I think if you get somebody that is just a supporting but the audience does become drawn to that. You kind of have to be
Oh,
open to
yeah.
say, maybe
Yeah.
we arc the story to maybe focus a little bit more on this because the audience.
Oh, yeah, I
you know,
mean,
you see that with certain shows
but
where
she says business.
Yes.
That means she definitely knows
they're taking
if
the
somebody
business side
takes
of it.
off and she
Yes.
looks and she sees a lot of comments about somebody, there will be some tweaks.
right.
And it's interesting because, especially doing, with no budget
Mm-hmm.
and people that are going to show up, I had the conversation, of course, with everybody about my intentions.
Mm-hmm.
That this is a stepping stone to get picked up. The goal
Mm-hmm.
is distribution, to be an original series, whatever. This isn't the end all be all of
Mm-hmm.
at least my idea for my career, whatever. So I will sell you. I will be going hard on this.
Mm-hmm.
You have my word. And then you have the people that not all the time, sometimes might not understand that it's work, right?
Yeah.
And that they get into it and they're like, wait, I have to be here every week. Yes.
Oh, and
yes,
that's
it's a series.
especially it's a problem when you're in the stages of no to slim budgets.
Right.
They think that because they're not getting paid, that they're not necessarily held to the same standards. Here's the deal: if you say yes, it's all the same standard,
Thank
whether
you.
the paycheck is $1 million or zero.
Right.
Yep.
It's all the same. You
Yeah.
say yes, you're committed.
It's a
You didn't
commitment.
get a paycheck to get married either, but when you say yes, that means yes.
Right.
You know.
And do you want the
So-
career or not? Why are you
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
And that was as far as character, as you had mentioned before, sometimes it had turned to a who's still here
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
or who's working harder, who's actually showing up.
Yep.
And now I can write them bigger, or I need to write them bigger
Yeah.
because they're showing dedication.
Yeah.
And utilizing things like getting on the internet, sharing
Yep.
themselves, promoting, and
That drives me crazy. Actors that are trying to go somewhere, not sharing the trailers and the stuff that
Oh,
they're
man.
in. Don't get me started on that. I will commit
me too.
Gonna throw you.
suicide.
Yes. I don't and I just can't as an actor as well understand that from an
Makes
acting
no
perspective.
sense.
Like that's you selling yourself. I'm giving you content to consistently sell yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
consider that a paycheck. You have things all the time, every week, every
Yeah.
season
Yeah.
that you could be emailing to casting directors, agents, whatever. And I can't tell you the emails I've sent and just, hey,
Yeah.
share please.
Yeah.
Like so you have
I've
people
I've
that
had
do.
cast and crew that won awards from films of mine that barely shared the trailer.
Mm.
And if I say something, it would be like, well, I don't really like bug people and be like, yay, look at me. And I'm like,
Interesting.
okay.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah. Okay. Right. You don't want an audience.
Right.
Well, yeah, I do, but you just don't want to bring them.
Right.
I don't understand. Help me
Yeah.
understand.
It's audience building. But yeah,
Yeah.
so the people that do those things, I
Yeah.
definitely pay attention and I say,
Oh, yeah, that's
we'll,
huge.
We'll write more for you for sure. I want to, when you realize and understand, like, okay, it clicks. This is the industry. This is how it works.
People are gonna love seeing it. So
Mm-hmm.
you're doing you're doing them a favor too. If you only post it once on Facebook and you have 5,000 friends, 43 sees it. Two of them have the time to click on it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because you didn't repost it again, you've excluded 4,998 people from this because you just didn't want to bug them.
Right.
Right.
And it's not bugging because you're sharing quality content. Like,
Yeah.
You're
And you're proud of it.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Like you take more pictures of your dog and your food, and you're like, this is actually something that you've like helped create.
Yeah. And it's interesting too when it's, okay, well, if you want to get paid, yes, then
Yeah,
share it because
yeah.
that's how, you
That's
know?
how. Yes, the views.
Well, and that was a tricky thing we had mentioned before is that the basics of just showing up. It's interesting the amount of people that it's just you can't even get them there, and it's like you wanted to do this, and then you can't even show up for it, let alone sharing and continuously promoting the show. Like
I was on a national TV show acting, and there was somebody that showed up, didn't know their lines.
Woo!
And I'm like, how? You get this opportunity and you don't know how? I'm like, this is unbelievable to me. You don't deserve the opportunity.
I had and these are things, definitely educational because
yeah.
they're roadblocks or little hurdles you'll come up against.
Yep.
I had an actor, to remain nameless,
Yes.
that yelled at me and got mad for me expecting her to know her lines.
Oh my God.
Believe that?
Wow.
Like if you
You're running a
expect
tight
me
ship.
Yeah.
learn all the, and I'm like,
I-
where are we?
I remember when we
day
started
is
doing
it?
our films, we had a 2-minute monologue was our audition process. 2-minute monologue shouldn't be that hard. I mean, I've veered away from monologues, but man, know your lines. It's not that hard. I mean, maybe if you get a ton of it, like I've heard of TV shows where they're handing you 7 new pages the day off. I get that could be very, very tricky, and you're going to have to figure out maybe how to do this in pieces or whatnot. But most people don't have that excuse.
Right.
If you have more than 24 hours and you have less than 2 pages, you should know your lines inside out, backwards, and be able to do them.
Especially
True.
set up like you're writing the whole season up front. So the cast get the entire season up front as far as the script is concerned?
For I wanted to be careful of telegraphing, so they didn't, see something coming and like play it 7
yeah.
episodes before. So they get it a week before. So we'll film like say
A
on a
week is a
Monday,
ton.
yeah, and then they'll get it that Monday evening or Tuesday morning, and then
And this
the
is
next
not like
one.
an hour and a half. It's just like you said, 7,
Right.
12.
Yeah,
Whatever,
now the fans wanted it longer, so we're going about like 20, 25 minutes.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
but
that's great.
even still, I mean,
Yes.
you got,
Yes, I totally.
you got a whole
Absolutely.
week.
Yeah.
And it's an ensemble cast, so
Absolutely.
Yeah,
you're sharing
nobody's
that
doing a
screen time.
monologue for 25 minutes.
Yeah, and it's interesting because in the beginning, I not being too sure of myself, kind of finding my footing, figuring out how to make this work, and I was being, as you had said, probably a little too generous, and I was allowing people on set the day we're filming to learn the page, film the page, learn the page, film the page. And I have since realized they have abused that.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And
they'll take full advantage of that.
yeah. And so, and even things like have scripts. Okay, fine. You can put it away. Now it's a problem. So, even just getting more firm and confident in myself to be like, no, there's no scripts on set. We have a master and you're literally 2 feet away. There's no reason. Because then it ends up in a scene. Because
Yeah.
we don't have a huge crew to do continuity.
Yeah.
Or the things like, no, you learn your lines prior. I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, things like that too, about we can all help each other and
Yeah.
do things, but we
The-
need to do this properly.
The on-camera time is, I don't even know if it's half the, it is half of what's required when you want to get committed to something like this.
Yeah.
Like your on-camera time's a small portion.
Oh,
the rest is
yeah.
the promoting, the preparation,
It's not
there's
even
so
half.
much more. Right.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Not
so
even
much more
half.
involved that I don't think people really understand. And I
No.
think that's a conversation like you had with yourself. People need to have with themselves
Yeah.
before they commit to something.
Well, I just think
Yes.
that they need to understand that they're part of something bigger. Because I think as an actor, you hop on to the next project and to the next this and to the next that, and you leave the other stuff behind, which I understand to some degree is a good mentality to have because you don't want to be the the Al Bundy of acting. You know what I mean?
Put me in.
that's not gonna be good. But on the other hand, you also can't you can't have this be everything
Right.
where it's just crazy.
Absolutely. And I think it's very, important to say as well that, like you said, to really have that conversation and understand what you want to do, because becoming involved in any type of project, like I definitely understand the people that have been involved in so many things that maybe flatlined.
Yeah.
I totally get it. But when somebody has a conversation with you prior, as I did, or, if you're listening and you're a creator, as you should with your cast and crew, this is my intentions, this is where we're going, this is what we're doing, then don't take it if you can't do it.
It's okay
You
to
know,
say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, or, if someone says to you, like, which you should be if you're doing this, I'm extremely serious. I will make this happen. Period. End of story. It might not take... It might take a little while,
Yeah.
but it's happening. Things will be happening. If you don't match that drive, don't do it.
Yeah.
Please don't.
You got to live it.
Yeah.
I've been to sets where the director shows up like an hour after call, and it's like, how are you supposed everybody's going to stay motivated seeing that? I shouldn't say where. I drove somewhere far away.
Far away.
And yes, in a galaxy far. And I get to set, and the director's not there. We sit and wait 45 minutes, and not just the director, a couple other people. She shows up and she says, "Can you run me to the store? I need to buy I need batteries and this and that." So now I'm driving her around to pick up what she needs for the day.
Wow.
And I was just like, and I've always decided that great director, shitty director, I will always give my all. But it's the kind of ships that I won't go back onto again. I will do the best I can for them that day, but like,
Well, I think you made an interesting point before too, as far as people are afraid to admit whether they've got the experience or not, whether they've been on set or not. And a situation like this, it's a zero budget. You don't care if you don't have the talent. Tell me that up front. Let me know what I'm working with, and if you're committed. I mean, I think commitment is a huge part of the pie that people place experience so much more over. And granted, experience obviously is important. But if you're committed and you're going to be there all the time, you're going to put in the effort, you're going to put in the work that it takes. That's how people gain experience.
Absolutely.
And I think don't shy away
and you
from admitting
definitely
that.
go above and beyond for those people, and
Yes.
you try to coach them, help them, and help them get to that level. We've had people acting wise that I don't think that they were quite at the level that the people around them, but the people around them raised them along with the team and just kept building them. And now, they've been a part of a few things we've done. And I look at them and I go, wow, this person could carry a few scenes now. And I remember like it was hard to even have them as an extra almost because they were trying to do too much with something. But they were so committed, so dedicated. They showed up, did their thing, and just completely changed levels from and set experience is a hell of a teacher.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, that's the truth. And it doesn't cater to you. Which I think is very important. And if you have the right mindset where you do take this seriously, that's it's invaluable. It's amazing to really have your eyes and ears open and learn from that. But if you expect to be handed everything, then you're in for a real rude awakening. Yeah. No matter what, indie
especially
or not.
in the indie, I think you blow it in the big leagues. You're kind of done.
And that was a thing for me as well, even with this whole project, because I know how hard it was for me to even have the courage to do something, and not including be an actor. I'm still an actor, still trying to get jobs, still auditioning. I know that it's difficult. So
it is.
My thing is, I want to take a chance on everyone. I know it's hard. I believe in you. If you're an actor, a creator, I have your back and I hear you and I want to support you. Please don't lie to me. Just like you said, I don't care what your resume says. I don't care what you've done before. I don't care if you have a reel. Be a human. Be a good person. Speak to me. How can I help you? Let's truly create. I believe that it's about collaboration over competition.
Absolutely.
Let's do this. But I can't help you if you fabricate this crap to me, and then you show up and I'm like,
yeah, and don't put in the effort.
This is not at all what I purchased.
Right? Like, what?
It's like falling down Michael Douglas.
Yeah. A cheeseburger.
Yeah.
So that's it too, and that has unfortunately happened a time or two where it's been, I'm stoked, great, let's do this, and then it's, action, and we're on an hour and a half of you not knowing 4 lines. And I'm trying, okay, this might be your first thing. Let's go. But like, I can't.
No.
But again,
I can't. We got to move on, and you got to understand that, and you got to be honest, about, I've done so much before. I've done this. And then you pull someone aside and you figure out they've never done anything.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think that's key is that, the hour and a half or not knowing the lines, but knowing what you're working with up front as a good film, TV series maker, creator. Knowing that, I think the preparation can be then set properly.
Absolutely.
As far as, okay, I know you haven't acted, but let's just cover you real quick. You're good to go. This is what you can then manage the situation properly if you're given the right information. And I think that's important for people to make sure that they're
or
upfront
start you real slow.
Yeah.
Let's give you a walk on 4 lines.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But you can't create a miracle after.
Nope.
It's like, that's cool.
Yep.
Real happy about today. Then you've got all the other actors like,
I'm
know,
supposed to be out of here by now.
Yeah.
And we haven't even started yet.
And we film an entire episode in one day.
Yeah.
So people want to go home.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the manpower to make it light, dark, day, night, So they're till literally we're done. It's not like, we'll just do it next week or tomorrow.
Yeah. Nope.
So yeah, it's just, I think if you're honest with your creators and you're honest with yourself and you're ready to work, you can do really anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick your brain very soon because we're actually stepping in and doing a little TV series thing,
Very exciting.
and I would love to just pick your brain on a few things because we're doing different setting, but doing an interesting thing. So I'd definitely
Look at this
love to.
networking going live.
Yeah,
I love it.
No, but yeah, no, but that's the thing when you were saying collaboration over competition. If you are in Michigan Film, you don't know it, but you are collaborating with all of us. We are all in the same boat because we all use a lot of the same talent, and if one of us blow up and do great, that people in that movie will all be pulled up, and they're in
Yes.
your movie too, and your movie will go up.
Yeah.
So we're all connected. So let's stop the silly competition and
Yes.
let's start sharing. Obviously, we got to be responsible sharing too, because we've
Yes.
shared locations before, and now we're not welcome back in because the people that came after us went in and wrecked the place and
Yeah.
walked in their dirty shoes and stepped on. I mean, I could tell you stories. Some people are not very respectful of places, so yes, they need to be somewhat screened, but generally share with each other. Let's help each other get to the next level
Right.
because that's the magic formula.
Respect the relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a magical energy that keeps on giving, and it's
It's a Care Bear energy.
yeah, it is. And what's that saying? I mean, it's cheesy, but I like it. It's like I think it's one candle loses nothing by lighting
Yeah,
another.
I love that one too, and it
it's-
is cheesy.
Yeah,
and
but
so
I love
good.
it.
Yeah,
It's truly
I've
the
never
truth.
heard that before. I like
really?
it.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
want to steal it though.
It makes so
Yeah.
much sense too when you think about it. You're like, yeah,
Yeah, there's no reason we can't help each other. That's how, like you said, you can be successful and have a network of supportive, safe people. To
Yeah.
be like, hey, can you help? Like, I don't know, I'm not sure, whatever. It's
Yeah.
an outstanding asset.
I love hearing stories about the old Hollywood with Scorsese and Coppola on them, like going in directing for each other when the other
Yeah.
guy's sick. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
wow. And everybody here thinks that they're so competitive. And it's like, nope, they're the good old boys club.
Yeah.
They're all working together one way or another. Obviously, they want to shine, but that doesn't mean that the others can't.
Yeah.
Right.
One of my favorite, most, it really, I would remind myself of it when I was having a hard time, even now, still when I'm doing my show, is I love Lucille Ball and I love Lucy and Desi. And, just knowing they literally created that from nothing. Like, they invented the 4-camera technique. They invented, Lucille Ball would come in and she'd bring her own wardrobe. She would bring wardrobe for the other women. They would just
That's
figure it out
awesome.
as they went, So it's like, and look what happened. They created so much of what we do now. So I think of that as well. Like, even
Yeah.
these amazing A-list celebrities, even well into her, later years, she was still doing it because it's just, this is how I was taught. I want to
Yeah.
help other people, and I created something out of nothing, so I want to pay it forward.
That's
It's
awesome.
really wonderful, and I hope to do one day as well.
Yeah, I think you already are.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you are because you can tell when somebody is giving of nature, and the fact that you continuously, when you were talking about your own opportunity, is you never forgot everybody else's opportunity, and I think that's huge because when we realized that maybe I have the keys and maybe I'm at the steering wheel, but I have a whole bus full of people, and it's my responsibility to get us all, across that line somewhere, wherever that miracle line is. But it is, it's you're almost humbled by the fact that all these people are cool enough to hop on your bus,
Yes.
Right.
and trust you to get them there or closer or whatever it may be. So I think that attitude is so awesome.
Yeah, it's extremely rewarding, and really for anybody that's listening, please you gotta believe in yourself. You are capable and you are talented and you are skillful. Don't look around you, and trust that what is meant to be will be for you. Yeah, I remember we got just recently offered a scholarship for the Webby Awards.
Oh.
And I mean, when be submitted and all of that. And I mean, I remember I opened the email from Denise, the producer, and I just cried. Because I was like, things are working out for me.
Happening.
Like the nights I was like, what do I do? It's like, it's really, really, really It happens. You just gotta. You can't give up. There's a woman I met. Her. She's amazing. Her name's Miranda Bailey, and she does. She's a director. She owns a company. She just did a film, Being Frank, with Jim Gaffigan, and one of the things she said is, literally, just don't quit.
Yep.
That's it. That's all.
That's a huge
don't
thing.
Quit.
Yep.
And I was like,
okay,
that's
I'm good at that.
You know,
Yes.
like real world practical advice.
Yeah.
Just don't give up, because there are people that they can't do it. They start, whatever, and they just start dropping off for whatever reason.
Look at all the people and their stories, like Schwarzenegger and Stallone, and all these people who had nothing. Stallone selling his dog. I mean, we're talking crazy stuff here. And he had offers on the film. They just didn't want him.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he was like, no, seriously, Adrian.
Right.
This is what he wants. You know what I mean? Like he wanted it that way. And he believed enough in himself to stick it out.
Yeah.
And he could have just been at the dog place and been like, no, that's not worth it. And look where he would have been if he would have packed it up. He bought that dog back for like $10,000. Did you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna cry. I love animals so much.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Do you know who gave Arnold Schwarzenegger his very first job ever in film?
No.
Lucille Ball.
Wow, did not know that.
Yeah, she casted him on a special she was doing. I have it on DVD, but yeah, no one wanted to hire him because he couldn't speak great English. She was too big, and she was like, I believe in you. I know what I went through. I'll hire you.
And he was so driven too. That guy was
amazing.
insane.
So
good.
I think a lot of people get tied up in that instant gratification. You're on season 3. It just premiered yesterday.
Yeah.
At 9 p.m.
Yeah.
It's on Facebook. People can watch now.
Yeah, please give the stats. I just started liking and following, so
thank you.
Yeah.
How was the process as far as, did you get instant feedback during season 1, or did you just start to see it more grow in season 2? What was the time frame for you as to where you are now?
Yeah, I think it's I definitely believe in I'm a hippie, and The Secret, but I also believe in creating your own reality, right? And that certain things just happen. So we did actually at first, because I knew immediately. I know where my target market audience is. I know my demographics. It's hair, it's stylists, probably between the ages of like 25 and 35. That's just a guess. So I started immediately. It was on YouTube at first, so I immediately started sharing it to all, like every hair. I would go out and market. Do street marketing, go into salons, hand out business cards I made off, my computer, just to get the word out. And it did build quite quickly on YouTube. We got over 1,000 subscribers in not too long. But then I think we were hacked. That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
And the whole account got terminated. The whole account.
Wow.
And
so the current account now that's on YouTube is not the original. No kidding.
We had so many comments and views and hours. Like, we were right to get monetized.
Wow.
And the whole thing got taken down. And I contacted a friend at Lionsgate. I'm like, somebody help me, please. And they couldn't even figure it out. Like, nobody could figure it out. And I couldn't get a real person because everything's, bot. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I was like ready to throw in the towel. I'm like, you know what? Forget it. It's going on Facebook. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Most of our audience is there anyway. Our demographic is more on Facebook than they are on YouTube. Fine, let's do it. And like, since it's been miraculous on Facebook. So pretty much immediately we did have a response because I knew the market I was going for. I knew the audience I wanted, and I took it to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much it's outstanding how much it builds and grows. And even to this, I mean, in Australia, there was a huge fan base immediately. And I'm like, that's insane. Like, and I know there's some fans that are doing, like, they want to demand us to get there to their Comic-Con thing. I'm like,
I think that's fabulous. A huge thing. They do like a road trip with that. I think would be a lot of fun. No, and I mean, it's the first episode's been out less than 24 hours and was like already over 3,000 views. I mean, it's just, it jumped very quick on that release. So I was curious, did you kind of see that from the get-go? But honestly, the show's hilarious. Another thing I did want to touch on here. How much time do we got? Are we over yet?
We are over.
We're over. Real quick, we've got to get this in. People watching, tell them about the Hulu.
Oh my God, yes. I found out that you can suggest a show much like you can to Netflix. I just like to see the show on your platform.
Yep.
And for Hulu, when you do that, it's kind of more real time, more direct, right? So you the process for Hulu is you submit your show and your little post to their community forum, I believe it is. And then from the community forum, it needs 100 votes, and once it has 100 votes, then Hulu can kind of see like, okay, yeah, this is worth it. Then they take a look. They can bring it to the table and talk about it. So we are currently trying to get 100 votes, just to get eyes on it, to get it seen, to get an opportunity. So if you would like to go and vote for us on Hulu, please and thank you.
The link's also on the Facebook
The link is
page,
on our
so-
Facebook
Very
and
cool.
our Instagram and everything as well.
And the Facebook page is
It is facebook.com/chair, like chair you sit in, gang, like group of people, series, like a TV show. All one.
That's
one.
awesome.
I'm putting the pieces together.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, go vote
Yes.
and let's get this on Hulu. That would be a
Yes.
great spot for it. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's very cool. I wish you luck. The
Yes.
Amazon used to have an Amazon Online Studios, and I have a TV series. I didn't write all that. I was not quite as dedicated as you. I wrote, I think, the first 2 episodes, and then I wrote outlines for the rest of the 8 episodes for the first season, and then I wrote a show book, I think, for 5 seasons, just outlines for main plot for the season. And we were at stage 2 with Amazon Studios online, and that means 3 is when you actually get like in and start. They shut it down right when we got approved, and they changed top level management for the studio, and I guess they had major copyright issues and stuff like that with people submitting stuff that they didn't really own and whatever else. So they just said,
Different route.
So, so I wish you luck, and I hope
Yes.
that's a good system. That's
Thank
a great
you.
system for Hulu. Isn't that a Disney?
It is the majority owner is
Yeah.
Disney. Yes.
Yeah.
You can bundle with Disney Plus. There's a great deal
Yeah.
going on. You do need a Hulu account to.
Are you a
There we
secret
go.
representative?
Well, yeah.
Well, you need an account to vote.
Yes,
So
you
that's
can
where I'm
also do-
going with this. Is
Oh.
you
Free
need,
trial.
Yes. So sign up. You can get a free trial. So
Yes.
if you
And
don't have a Hulu account,
Anybody
take that and
who
vote.
has a Sprint has free Hulu through them.
Really?
So anybody with Sprint, I used to have Sprint and I had Hulu on my phone. You couldn't get it on the TV, so that was kind of a pain. But if you have a Sprint phone, you should have access to Hulu and be able to go on
Nice.
there and do the voting
Thank
thingy.
you.
There we go.
So
I didn't know that.
If you
all
see anyone with a Sprint
people,
phone, tackle them and
if you can get
Hey.
if you can get a connection,
right.
good
right,
luck.
Right.
Oh man. So yeah, this has been fun.
Yeah.
I thought this was really cool, and thanks for bringing her in.
oh, of course.
Thank you,
Very,
kind
very
sirs.
cool.
Anything I
Yes,
can do.
and I'm excited to see more of what happens here because it sounds like you have a bright future. And then we got to talk about my little shindig too, and see if you can give me some helpful advice before we get cracking on this.
That's the
'cause
after hours episode. Right?
Yes,
We do,
yeah. We have a bad habit of heading to medieval times bars and stuff
Yeah.
like that afterwards.
Too close.
Yeah. Yes. So, but yeah, fantastic. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you
Yes,
for
thank
having
you.
So make sure that you follow the Chair Gang and make sure that you check out the episodes and make sure you vote on Hulu. Make sure we get 100 votes. Come on, guys. We have usually
There's
thousands of people watching
There's
this.
people
thing.
watching right now, so all of you go and vote. We're about to wrap it up.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. Any last thoughts? I love little nuggets for our audience because we have a lot of filmmakers and aspiring actors and whatnot watching. So,
Deep Thoughts by April Washko.
Deep
Yes.
thoughts. I have a lot. There is a place for everybody. There is no one that is currently sitting in a spot that you need to push out of. You belong in this industry and you can do it.
very cool. Short and sweet.
Like it.
So, what do you say? We're going to call this one over.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody,
All
for
right.
watching.
Thank
I'm
you.
Robbie.
I'm Harley,
I am April Washko.
and we are out.